Glock has finally broken his silence, opening up with deep thoughts about young Dolph's passing, the heartbreak, and the tough lessons he's carried since then. Glock isn't keeping it bottled up anymore, and the weight of his words hits heavy. Everyone knows no one felt the pain of losing Dolph more than Glock. Their connection went way beyond music. They were more than partners. They were family, real cousins, bonded for life. Even though nearly 4 years have gone by since that tragic loss, Glock is still navigating the grief, still searching for peace, and looking back at how Dolph's journey was surrounded by both fake support and hidden negativity in those final moments. That's just a normal thing when death occurs. It's just like, I ain't going to say it's wrong to show love, but if it ain't genuine, why do it? Like if it ain't real. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody know like I know like you know didn't, a bro like that. You know what I'm saying? But here's where things take a turn. Many say the real story is only now beginning to surface. And let's be honest, nothing in the streets ever plays out clean or simple. Conversations in the community have long suggested that Dolph's death wasn't just some random event. It carried the weight of planning behind it. What we do know is this. One man tied to the case, Justin Johnson, has already been convicted and given a life sentence. Another, Cornelius Smith, is still waiting for his day in court. Meanwhile, people continue to raise eyebrows at the release of Hernandez Govan, who prosecutors once claimed had a major role in the case. We, the jury, find the defendant Hernandez Govan not guilty in count 1 of the indictments. We, the jury, find the defendant Hernandez Govan not guilty in count 2 of the indictment. Is this your body? Is this your party? Yes. Sir, is this your party? Yes, ma'am. Is this your party? Yes. 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 Now, if you've been tuned in to the conversations around the neighborhood and the headlines, you know the pieces don't quite line up. Something feels off. Let's start with Hernandez Govan. He's the man prosecutors once said was tied to orchestrating the tragedy. But here's the question. Where's the motive? There was no clear history between Govan and Dolph, no record of beef with Paper Route Empire, nothing that screams personal vendetta. And financially, Govan wasn't living the kind of lifestyle that suggests he could bankroll something of this scale. That's why people speculate there may have been someone else in the shadows, using him as a piece in a much bigger puzzle. Then there are the shooters, Justin Johnson and Cornelius Smith. The two men identified as pulling the trigger. Johnson especially had deep ties in the streets. Old photos have even surfaced with him appearing in the background around Dolph, sparking endless theories. Some fans even whisper about his past connections with Glock, which only fuels speculation. Still, Glock himself has kept mostly silent since Dolph's passing, and many say his quietness comes from knowing how street codes work. Nobody wants to be seen as pointing fingers. And one thing's for sure. In the streets, a hit of this scale is rarely random. It's often part of a bigger web of politics and grudges most people never see. Now, let's be clear. We're not saying Glock had anything to do with this, but fans and followers continue to raise questions, wondering how deep the knowledge runs within Paper Route. Some even say Dolph may have been closer to danger than he realized, thinking he could manage it, control it, and outlast it. But sometimes even the strongest can get caught in forces far beyond their control. So let's rewind back to the moment Justin Johnson stepped onto the scene. September 17, 2021. Young Dolph was doing something simple, something he always did, grabbing cookies for his mother at Makita's homemade butter cookies. If you know Dolph, you know this was a routine spot, a piece of home he never let go of. That's why the hit was so shocking. For Justin Johnson to pull up on him like that in broad daylight, he had to be familiar with Dolph's habits. He had to know where Dolph would be and when. And here's where the questions begin. Johnson had been seen around the Paper Route circle, even making cameos in a Glock video called Hot, rocking an orange jacket and hanging with the crew like everything was normal. To some fans, it feels like the betrayal came from way too close. After Dolph's passing, Glock stayed silent, pulling back from the spotlight. Many noticed the pain in his rare interviews where he admitted he was simply maintaining, neither healing nor falling apart, just stuck in that middle space of grief. But Johnson wasn't moving like a lone wolf. Street talk has always painted him as more of a hired gun, tied to deeper politics in Memphis. Maybe he didn't personally beef with Dolph, but there could have been other motives in play. Quiet grudges, silent jealousy, things not seen on the surface. That's why people started connecting dots when other big figures like Josh Taylor of the Trella Mafia gang also fell around the same time. Memphis was heating up. Dolph himself wasn't a gang figure, but he was respected. He built bridges, showed love, and kept ties across the city. And while that earned him loyalty, it also made him a target. As Boozy has often warned, when you blow up in your hometown, envy can get dangerous. Dolph, though, refused to leave Memphis. He wore the crown proudly. His debut album was even King of Memphis. Still, what happened that day shows it wasn't just random outsiders. These weren't nameless enemies. They were people within reach, people familiar, people too close for comfort. And the online community hasn't stopped asking questions. Some call it conspiracy, others call it betrayal. Either way, there's a sense that the full truth is still buried. So here's the real question. Do we believe Justin Johnson acted on his own, or was he just part of something bigger, a piece of a puzzle that still hasn't been solved? And what about Glock? Was he simply grieving and caught in the storm, or does he carry knowledge he's never spoken out loud? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's unpack this together. And don't forget to like and subscribe because this conversation...